Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem spent her Sunday trying to pin the shooting of 2 National Guard members on the Biden administration, but the moment she was reminded that the suspect's asylum was actually approved under the Trump administration, the whole argument collapsed in real time.
He would have undergone extensive vetting during his tenure there, and afterwards. It is worth noting Citizenship and Immigration Services, an agency which is a part of DHS, approved the suspect's asylum application in April of this year. Why did the Trump administration grant the suspect asylum in April? Did you know then that he was moving toward radicalization?
Well, Kristen, you need to remember that when this abandonment of Afghanistan happened, the Biden administration put people on airplanes, brought them to the United States without vetting them. They brought them into our country and then said they would vet them afterwards. Unfortunately, this individual, that entire process happened under Joe Biden's watch.
Well, but just to be very clear, I want to go back to what happened on the Trump administration's watch. He was extensively vetted in order to serve alongside U.S. service members as a part of the CIA-trained strike force. But in terms of what happened on the Trump administration's watch, just to be very clear, what vetting did the Trump administration do before giving this suspect asylum?
The vetting process, Kristen, happens when the person comes into the country, and Joe Biden completely did not vet any of these individuals, did not vet this individual.
But I just want to be very clear about this, because his asylum was approved in April of this year on the Trump administration's watch. So just to be very clear, was there a vetting process in place to approve that asylum request?
Yeah, the vetting process all happened under Joe Biden's administration.
But was he vetted when he was granted asylum? Are you saying he wasn't vetted when he was granted asylum?
This is the political version of stepping on a rake over and over again. Because here's what we know. The shooter worked with the U.S. government in Afghanistan. He entered the U.S. after the 2021 withdrawal. And he lived here during the Biden administration, where he applied for asylum in 2024. And then, in April of this year, the asylum was approved by Trump's DHS. So Noem's explanation is basically all signs point to Biden.
Biden, Joe Biden, Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Biden.
It's almost impressive, really. I mean, the level of confidence to blame the last guy for something that your boss did? Trump and his regime are desperately trying to distance themselves from Trump's mistakes. And when he was recently confronted with the facts, his dementia-addled brain resorted to lashing out at a reporter.
Your DOJ IG just reported this year that there was thorough vetting by DHS and by the FBI of these Afghans who were brought into the U.S. So why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let them in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
He's crazy.
Now, we still don't know why the shooter drove from Washington State to Washington, D.C. to attack 2 National Guard members, but it is strange that someone would drive across the country only carrying a revolver that holds 6 bullets. That's not really a plan that makes much sense. But I do think it's interesting that before the shooting, a memo came out revealing Trump's plan to review all refugees admitted during the Biden administration, which is a polite way of saying deport them all. The memo also immediately suspended green card approvals for refugees who came to the U.S. during the stated time period, coupled with the fact that Trump and his regime have spent several months using the U.S. military to terrorize anyone with brown skin who speaks a different language or has an accent. Not to mention that the shooter was apparently struggling with mental health issues after coming to America in 2021. So from there, you could form a possible motive. Let's get back to Noem trying to explain her way out of this.
That entire process happened under Joe Biden's watch. All of that vetting information was collected by Joe Biden's administration that was used in the process.
This is amazing because, again, the asylum was approved in April under Trump, under Noem, after Biden was long gone hanging out in Delaware eating ice cream with his family.
Awkward.
Jonathan Karl on ABC asked the same thing.
You said that he was radicalized here in the United States. He was admitted to this country by the Biden administration. That's 100% correct, 2021. But he was granted asylum by the Trump administration in April. So did you see any red flags?
If you remember, John,
Yeah, did you see any red
Remember,
flags?
John, all the information that was gathered on that vetting process was gathered under the Biden administration. His asylum claim application started under the Biden administration. That information was provided by them, and the responsibility lies with them.
Noem answers with the same loop she gave Welker. She's like an NPC stuck in dialogue mode.
So, but again, he was granted asylum in April, so President Trump had already been in office for several months. You had been in office. Are you saying there was no vetting done by the Trump administration? You were simply relying on what had been done under the Biden administration? You did no vetting before granting him asylum?
The processes were put in place using information that was gathered during the application process that happened under Joe Biden.
Her big claim is that the asylum paperwork was started under Biden, which is not an answer. She's claiming and admitting to the fact that the Trump administration did not vet the suspect because Biden did it first. That's like saying, well, the ingredients were ordered while Biden was president, so we just cooked the meal and delivered it to the table.
What an idiot!
And when we saw during Operation Allies Welcome was over close to 100,000 people that were allowed to come to the United States, that Joe Biden said, you know what, we'll vet them after they get here. We'll let them into our country, and then we'll vet them after they get here. And then they didn't do it. They didn't do a good job, and it wasn't complete and thorough, and that's what is being fixed right now.
What is she talking about?
Again, what the Biden administration said actually is that the vetting was done before they came to the United States. But let me ask you about another subject.
Well, I think if you watch what happened unfold,
but you just said that that's
you
what
watch people pull on.
Biden said. I know, but
you watch people load onto those planes.
They didn't come from those planes directly into the United States.
Kristi Noem is referencing chaotic footage of the evacuation as proof that Biden never vetted anyone, as if B-roll is more reliable than federal vetting records. And let's not forget who initiated the Afghanistan evacuation process: Donald Trump.
Knowing that he had lost and that he had only weeks left in office, President Trump rushed to complete his unfinished business. One key example is this: President Trump issued an order for large-scale U.S. troop withdrawals. He disregarded concerns about the consequences for fragile governments on the front lines of the fight against ISIS and al-Qaeda terrorists. Knowing he was leaving office, he acted immediately and signed this order on November 11th, which would have required the immediate withdrawal of troops from Somalia and Afghanistan, all to be complete before the Biden inauguration on January 20th, and signed this order on November 11th, which would have required the immediate withdrawal of troops.
It is odd. It is non-standard. It is potentially dangerous. I personally thought it was militarily not feasible nor wise.
The guys at True Classic started with a simple mission: to bring premium, comfortable clothing to the masses, because looking and feeling great shouldn't come with a designer price tag. And clearly, people agree. With over 25 million shirts sold to 5 million customers and more than 200,000 five-star reviews, True Classic has become a staple in closets everywhere. But this brand isn't just about fabric or fit. It's about confidence, about helping people show up every day feeling put together without trying too hard. That's what makes True Classic the perfect gift this holiday season. Whether you're shopping for your dad, your brother, your partner, or even the women and kids in your life, True Classic has something for everyone. The same premium comfort and perfect fit that built the brand are now available for the whole family. These pieces fit where they should, feel incredible, and don't break the bank. You get that tailored look without sacrificing comfort or blowing your holiday budget. I've been wearing True Classic for a while now, and you can feel the difference the moment you throw one on. It's tailored where you want it, relaxed where you need it. No bunching, no stiff fabric, no BS. Just a clean, effortless fit that actually works for real life. So skip the guesswork and the overpriced designer stuff. Give comfort, give confidence, give True Classic. You can find them at Amazon, Target, Costco, and Sam's Club, or head over to trueclassic.com/Gabe to grab the perfect gift for everyone on your list. So if we go back to Noem's disastrous interviews, both hosts turned to the court order that Noem is accused of ignoring, an order blocking deportation flights to El Salvador.
In a filing in federal court this week, the Justice Department said that when the administration was ordered back in March to stop sending detained migrants to a mega prison in El Salvador, you personally made the final call to continue the flights anyway. Is that correct? Do you acknowledge that?
You know, we have court filings going on and decisions that are going forward. I'll let them continue to play through that process.
But did you make that
I'm
call?
proud of President Trump and his leadership and the decisions that we have made. And the decisions that are made on deportations, where flights go and when they go, are my decision at the Department of Homeland Security. And we will continue to do the right thing and ensure that dangerous criminals are removed.
So that you're saying that it was your decision. It sounds like the judge wanted to ensure that people were given due process. He said very clearly, quote, any plane containing these folks that is going to take off or is in the air needs to be returned to the United States, but those people need to be returned to the United States. However that's accomplished, I leave to you. But this is something that you need to make sure is complied with immediately. Did you defy the court's order, Madam Secretary?
No, Kristen, and that's one of the things that we continue to face across this country is activist judges who are using radical decisions that have no standing and no grounds to try to stop what President Trump is doing to protect America and to keep us safe.
So she admits that she made the call, she admits that the decisions are hers, and then she claims that the judge is the problem.
The Department of Justice says that you were the one that made that order. So I have two questions on that. First of all, is that right? Does the buck effectively stop with you on this? Was this your responsibility? And had you known that the judge had ordered those planes to be turned around when that order was issued?
Yes, I made that decision, and that decision was under my complete authority and following the law and the Constitution.
That is not true.
Did you know about the judge's order when you issued your order for the planes to continue?
This is an activist judge, and I understand, we're still in litigation with this against this activist judge who's continuously tried to stop us from protecting the American people. We continue to win. His ridiculous claims are not in good standing with the law or the Constitution. We'll win this one as well, and we comply with all federal orders that are lawful and binding, and we will continue to do that.
So she complied with the order by not complying because the judge was activist because he ruled against her. That's not how the law works. That's like saying I didn't break the rule because the person who made the rule was annoying. And all of this behavior is not even new. Back in May, Senator Chris Murphy sent up a warning flare when he reprimanded Noem for running her department off the rails.
Your department is out of control. You are spending like you don't have a budget. You're on the verge of running out of money for the fiscal year. You are illegally refusing to spend funds that have been authorized by this Congress and appropriated by this committee. You are ignoring the immigration laws of this nation, implementing a brand new immigration system that you have invented that has little relation to the statutes that you are required, that you are commanded to follow, as spelled out in your oath of office. You are routinely violating the rights of immigrants who may not be citizens, but whether you like it or not, they have constitutional and statutory rights when they reside in the United States. Your agency acts as if laws don't matter, as if the election gave you some mandate to violate the Constitution and the laws passed by this Congress. It did not give you that mandate. You act as if your disagreement with the law, or even the public's disagreement with the law, is relevant and gives you the ability to create your own law. It does not give you that ability.
So when you merge Noem's two interviews between Welker and Carl, the pattern becomes impossible to miss. Any fact that she can't handle becomes Biden's fault, any legal ruling becomes activism, any contradiction becomes a process issue, and any evidence becomes, I remember that differently. This is what happens when an idiot is running DHS, especially someone who can't even explain habeas corpus.
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to...
Let me stop you, ma'am. Habeas corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
President Lincoln used it.
Excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people. If not for that protection, the government could simply arrest people, including American citizens, and hold them indefinitely for no reason. Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea. As a senator from the Live Free or Die state, this matters a lot to me and my constituents and to all Americans. So, Secretary Noem, do you support the core protection that habeas corpus provides, that the government must provide a public reason in order to detain and imprison someone?
Yeah, I support habeas corpus. I also recognize that the President of the United States has the authority under the Constitution to decide if it should be suspended or not.
It has never
Let
been,
us be clear, though,
it
that
has
this
never
president...
been done. It has never been done without approval of Congress. Even Abraham Lincoln got retroactive approval from Congress.
Thanks for watching What Was That? If you want more episodes, articles, and breakdowns, go to whatwasthat.show. Join the community and become a paid subscriber today. It's just me behind the scenes, so every bit of support really makes a difference. And if you'd rather listen on the go, you can find What Was That on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows. Until next time, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?